Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Yes, I am completely barefaced of makeup right now. Whoo, Nelly. But it is because today's video is going to be all about my full coverage foundation routine, and I'm also going to be sharing how I highlight, contour, bake, bronze, you know, all that good stuff. I thought about separating the videos, like doing just foundation and then doing just like highlight and contour and baking and all that, but I don't know, they just all go together for me. So I didn't really want to split the videos because it just seemed like it would be repetitive for what I did for foundation. I would put in the highlight contour, or what I did for highlight contour would go in the foundation. So I was like, I make long videos anyways, so why don't we just put it all together, and I'm just going to show how I get full coverage foundation plus how I do my highlight, my baking, and my contouring. So I'll be going through step by step of how I do all of this. I'll be using some of my new favorite products, some like old school products that I just absolutely love, and yeah, I'm just excited to share this video with you. It has been requested a couple times. I mean, even back like a while ago, and I've always kind of just had it lurking on my list, and I'm like, no, I just need to get this video filmed because I know some of you guys have been wanting to see it. So yes, how about we hop into my foundation, highlight, contour, baking routine. My step one is putting my hair into a nice little top knot. I like doing the top knots on camera because I'm not a huge fan of like pulling my hair up all the way back because I'm self-conscious of my ears. So the top knot really saves me when I still want like this hair off my face, so I'm not putting product in it. The top knot really saves the day, so I enjoy that. I also don't have any like cute headbands, like, you know, everyone's got like the cute headbands and like the ears. No, I don't have any of that stuff, so top knot's gonna have to work. The first thing that I do when I'm doing more of either a full coverage routine or a foundation routine that I want to like last all day, the first thing that I'm gonna do even before I prime my face is like, I like do a double prime. So I will spray my face with a like setting spray first, and the one that I've been loving lately is from Badescu. It's their facial spray with aloe, herbs, and rose water. Looks like this. I picked it up at Ulta. It's very affordable. It was like $7 or something, and then I think I got mine on sale. But it says it's a rejuvenating facial spray. You can use it to set makeup, soothe your skin in dehydrating conditions, or give your skin a quick boost anytime, anywhere. So I use it to kind of like prime my face. Some people use MAC Fix Plus, or if you have just any other setting spray, feel free to use that, but that's what I'm going to do first. And then for my primer, you know, just being a little bit extra, but for my second primer, I'm going to use from Maybelline. It is their Blur and Illuminate primer. It looks like this. It is from their Face Studio line, so I think it is a little bit pricier than like some of the other Maybelline products, but it's a really, really good drugstore. Higher end option that has a good illuminating primer is the Becca primer, the backlight priming filter. This is a really good one. For a high-end option if you're interested in that. It gives really good like luminosity and glow to the skin, but if you're looking for a more affordable one, I say go for Maybelline because I think it is very nice. Kind of how I do my primers is if I'm using like a mattifying foundation or a foundation that doesn't have any like luminosity to it, I will use more of a mattifying or regular primer, because if I use luminous primer and luminous foundation, it kind of just brings like an oily effect and doesn't look good. So that's kind of how I like to judge what I'm doing. And for the foundation, I'm using the Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation and Concealer. And this is more on like the matte side finish. Like it's not super, super matte, but it definitely does not have any like glow to it in my opinion. So that's why I use the illuminating primer. So that's kind of how I do how I pick my primers, is what I'm using for foundation. But I'm choosing the Clinique Beyond Perfecting to use because this is like my current obsession right now. I bought it at the Sephora VIB sale and I've just fallen in love with it ever since. I can't stop using it. And it is more full coverage to me, especially when I use a brush to apply it versus a beauty blender. It definitely is a more full coverage. A good full coverage foundation that I hear everyone talk about is the Estee Double Wear. Like everyone says that's like the fullest of full coverage foundations. I don't own that one, but I have heard that a lot. A drugstore full coverage, in my opinion, is the Maybelline Fit Me, especially the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless. I think that is super full coverage. At times it's actually almost too full coverage for me because I'm not huge into that like every single day type of thing, but when I know I need full coverage, I will typically reach for the Maybelline Matte and Poreless. So those are a few other options for you. But for today, I'm picking my current favorite, the Clinique. I am in the shade 6.5 Buttermilk. It has a pretty fun applicator. It looks like this, and I just use it and kind of put a few stripes on my face like so. So, looking good right now. Then to buff that in, I'm going to use my Sigma Flat Kabuki brush. This is the F80 from Sigma, one of my favorite foundation brushes. Another affordable foundation brush that I really love is the Morphe M430. Both of these brushes were mentioned in my top 10 brushes video, so if you haven't seen that, I would check that out. They're both in there, and then I'm just gonna buff this into the skin. Again, like I mentioned, and I think I mentioned this in when I did the first impression of this foundation, is if you don't want it to be as full coverage and you want just a little bit of a lighter finish, I would use a damp beauty blender to buff it in, and I recommend that tip with any foundation. I really do love the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless, but some days, like I said, it's just a little bit like too much for me, and when I still want to wear it but I don't want such a full coverage, I just use a beauty blender because of all of the hydration that you're getting from a damp beauty blender. It just kind of helps shear things out a little bit. So that is just a little tip from me. So I'm just going to blend this in. Then I am having a few areas of redness like on my chin and here under my cheek. And so part of this Clinique foundation is that it's a 2-in-1, and you're supposed to be able to spot correct any spots and like use this as a concealer. So I'm just gonna place a little bit on my chin and a little bit on my under eye. That's all I'll need, and then I'll just buff those in with my brush. I'm gonna go in and set the foundation, and for this I'm gonna use the Maybelline Master Fix Loose Setting Powder, and I'm gonna use my Morphe E3 brush to apply it. This brush was also mentioned in my top 10 brushes video if you have not seen that one. So I'm just gonna swirl it in the powder and apply lightly to my face. It's just gonna help keep the foundation in place all day. I really love this powder. I mentioned it in my recent fab or fail from the drugstore, and this definitely got a big ol' fab from me. I think it is a great powder. For concealer, I'm gonna use the Maybelline Better Skin, and for the concealer, I'm gonna place this under my eyes. And I like to make the triangle under here and bring it out and up. And I also like to bring the concealer onto the sides of my nose. It's kind of just a trick to make your nose look smaller. And then I also put concealer in the center of my forehead, down the bridge of my nose, on my cupid's bow, and on my chin. So for concealing, it's kind of like a 2-in-1 because you're doing it not only to conceal like any, dark circles under your under eyes, but you're also using it to highlight your face. And if you're using it to highlight your face and you go like this is intense concealer under here, like if I just am trying to mask dark circles, I'll just put a little bit under there and buff it out, no big deal. But if you're using it to also highlight your face, if you do under your under eyes, you also want to make sure you're balancing that out by doing the forehead, the nose, cupid's bow, and chin. And you want to have your concealer and your highlighting points be more like on the inner part of your face, and then you contour around the edges of your face. So now that I have all of the areas that I want to conceal / highlight, I'm going to use my Morphe G2, another favorite brush. I'm just going to go ahead and start to blend that in. I usually bring my concealer on my eyelids as well, and I have it act as an eye primer. And then to bake for my under eyes, I'm going to use the Laura Mercier. It's the Secret Brightening Powder. So what I do is I just take, this is the Real Techniques Beauty Sponge, and I just grab a generous amount of product and apply this to the under eye where I placed concealer. And I don't bake all of the time because I think it's kind of time consuming. So sometimes I'll just use a regular translucent powder, but if I'm going for like the full face effect, like long lasting type of wear, really getting into it, this is what I will use, Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder. And then I'm just gonna let it sit there for about 5 minutes, and you're just letting the powder kind of like seep into your skin. Basically, you're using like the warmth from your own body to help set the concealer and set the powder. So I'll leave it sit for about 5 minutes and then dust it away. Then I'm going to contour as we are baking, and I do not have any sort of like cream contouring sets, but I will show you how I cream contour in my own way. This is how I've been doing it for probably about a year now, and it was picked up from Jaclyn Hill when she did like cream contouring a while back. I went out and bought what she suggested, and it's basically just using a foundation that is much darker for your skin. And so I have the L'Oreal True Match, and it is in N7. So it looks like this, and I just use my Sephora 57 brush, looks like this, and this is what I use to cream contour. To me, it's a lot more affordable, especially for going out and buying like contouring kits where you only use 1 or 2 out of the 6 to 8 colors that are in there, and I just feel like it's a big waste. So this is the way that I do it. Again, I picked it up from Jaclyn Hill. I didn't make this up myself, but it's what I've been doing for about a year when I want to cream contour, and works just fine for me. I just pour a little bit into the cap of it and then dip my brush in there. So when you are contouring the cheekbones, basically I start from the top of my ear and go down. So I'm just gonna place little dots there and then do the same thing on the other side, like start towards my ear and come down. And then I'm also gonna place them on my forehead, real close to my hairline, and then a little bit underneath my chin and jaw. Then I will do just a little swipe on the sides of my nose and on the tip of my nose. I'm not someone who like really dislikes their nose, so I don't do a whole lot here, but just a little bit. Like that. Looking nice and crazy now. So basically when you're contouring, you're trying to give yourself a shadow so it looks like your cheekbones pop a little bit more. You can slim your face. And so depending on your face, what it is that you're looking for, I mean, you can contour in different ways, but this is what I prefer to do for myself. If you have a larger forehead, you can contour the sides of your forehead more to give the effect of a smaller forehead. I mean, people can contour their nose to literally make it look like they've had a nose job. I mean, it's really, really cool what you can do with makeup. And I'm just going to take that Real Techniques beauty sponge and I'm just going to blend in the contour. For blending out the contour, I suggest again having a damp beauty blender. Just makes things easier. So again, just when you think of contouring, you're thinking of making shadows on your face and kind of slimming areas. That's kind of like how I think of it. And then when you think of highlighting, you're thinking about brightening areas of the face and really illuminating. Okay, so we are all blended out now. I'm just going to dust away that powder. I'm going to come back and use the Morphe E3 for this. It's just a really light brush and just kind of dust that excess away. Then a lot of people like to clean up the contour that you've made, and I like to do this. Again, it's not something that I do every day, but when I'm going for, you know, more of an oomphed up look, I will do this because I do like the effect that it gives. So basically we're gonna put powder like right down here, and It really does kind of help like sharpen up the contour so you can like see a definitive line, but without looking like too like, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, I'll show you. We'll do it together so we can see what we're all talking about. But basically I'm just gonna come back with the Maybelline loose powder. Use my Real Techniques makeup sponge again. I'm just gonna dip it into that. And then I'm just going to apply that underneath the contour. Again, just come underneath the contour. Some people like to bake their smile lines. Right up in here, like kind of like try to give yourself a weird looking mustache. I mean, that's fine, you can do whatever you want. Okay, so we got like our fun mustache on. I'm gonna leave that sit for a few minutes as well. And then to kind of bronze up my face, I'm gonna use the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer and the Morphe M530. Use this to bronze as we bake. So I like to think about bronzing like around the temples, and again like going pretty far back, like towards your hairline. For bronzer, you do want to have a pretty light hand. And a lot of times your bronzer can actually be used to kind of like set the cream contour as well. So this Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer is definitely a big favorite of mine. I've had it for a very long time. And I'm just gonna apply blush real quick. I'm gonna use the Milani Luminoso, a total favorite, plus the Morphe M427. This is just a nice duo fiber brush. Luminoso is such like an all-time favorite blush, but especially for like spring, summer, because it's just so like peachy, but bronzy, glowy. It's just a beautiful blush. Definitely a recommendation. Okay, and then I'm just going to dust away the extra powder under here. And you can see it just kind of gives a sharper line of where your contour is. So in case you went a little crazy with the contour and brought it down here, you know, that's obviously going to defeat the purpose of why you're contouring. So if you dust it away and then just have that nice sharp little line there, I really like the way that looks. And so now my face is mostly done. I'm going to just do like a really simple eye look off camera and then come back and do my highlight. Okay, so I just did like really simple eyes, like I don't even have false lashes on, one eyeshadow, just a quick eyeliner job, and a bunch of Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. So that's all I'm gonna do for the eyes today, just because I'm really just trying to show you my face routine. But to finish it all up, I'm going to highlight, which is one of my favorite parts. And I'm gonna use another current obsession of mine, which is the Anastasia Glow Kit, and this is in that glow. So this is what the inside looks like. My favorite brush to highlight at the moment is the Morphe M501 brush. This was also mentioned in my top 10 brushes. The shade that I'm going to use today to highlight is Bubbly. I go back and forth between Bubbly and Dripping in Gold. I love them both, but I'm just going to use Bubbly, and then to highlight, I just do the tops of my cheekbones right here, and then bring it slowly into the center of my cheek. And this will really just illuminate the tops of the cheekbones and give the skin a glowy finish. I usually like to take the very tip of the brush and pop it right into the center of my cheek like that, and then dust it out, because something about having that glow like right in like the apple of your cheeks, it makes me so happy. So that's how I do that. And then if you really want to get like intense glowy look, I just continue to take the highlight up and kind of make a C motion. So I bring it up onto the temple and then above my eyebrow as well. And this will just really give you like a highlighted, luminous effect. I'm just going to repeat these steps on the other side. If If you guys have any other video suggestions from me that you would like to see, please do leave those in the comments below. I have been getting so many requests to do an eyelash video, and I promise it is coming. I've just been kind of trying to figure out how to film it since I don't have I'm not hands-free, like I'm holding a mirror. I always have to hold a mirror. I actually don't have like a table or anything in front of me, so I just always have to have a mirror in my hand, and I usually need 2 hands to apply the lashes. So I've been just trying to like figure it out, and I've been working on practicing, and I promise I will have that one coming very soon. Okay, and so also other areas that I like to highlight is just down the bridge of my nose. Again, these are areas that we put the concealer. These are areas that we want to highlight. And I just take a little bit and I do right on the tip of my nose. I saw a bunch of people start to do this a while back, and I was like, I like the way that that looks too. I mean, all of this is whatever your preference is, you know? Then I'll do on my Cupid's bow as well. Some people actually like get very precise and they actually highlight like the lines of the Cupid's bow. I just kind of dust a little powder on there because, again, this is 100% our preference. It's our makeup, it's our face, it's what we want to do. This is just how I do it. Okay, so those are the areas that I highlight, and yeah, that is basically my full coverage foundation, my baking, contouring, and highlight routine. Again, this is just like what I do. Of course, you know, modify it for yourself, but I'm just gonna finish up real quick and add some lip color, take my hair down, and then we are. And before I forget, my very last step is what my very first step was, and that is setting the entire face. Once again, I'm gonna use my Badescu setting spray and just spritz away. And there we have it. So that is my full coverage foundation routine, including how I do my highlight, contouring, and baking. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. Thank you guys so much for requesting to see this video. It just makes me happy when you guys request things, and it gives me better ideas on producing videos that you guys want to see. So of course, if you have any other recommendations, please do leave those in the comments below. I do want to point out that I'm still very much a beginner when it comes to makeup. I got on YouTube about 1 year ago and really started learning about makeup and applying it and brushes and techniques. This to me definitely is more of a like beginner type of version for foundation and highlight, contouring, baking. I know like I probably am not going as in-depth as some other ones, but I just do want to throw it out there that I am still very much a beginner. So I mean, hopefully this helps other people who are beginners that are trying to learn too and can get kind of confused by some other people, because I know that I certainly can. And when I'm trying to learn different techniques, I really do like watching people who are, you know, trained makeup artists or have been doing this for years and, you know, really have a technique down. But then I also like to watch some of the other people who I know are beginners as well and see what they're doing, because a lot of times it reflects more on me and what I'm doing. So I know I kind of held off on doing this video for a while because I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna be good enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if this is good enough to put out there. But then I realized that I like to watch these types of videos and watch beginners because I can just relate to them more, and I feel like that's what I feel like with a lot of my followers and subscribers and people that I talk to every single day via social media or Snapchat. That's kind of like how I feel like I'm connecting with you guys, like we're all kind of learning together. And so I really appreciate that feedback, and, you know, appreciate you guys like giving me the courage to be able to make these types of videos, because it sucks when you don't think that you're good enough at something, but when you know that you have so many people that like are rooting for you to do it, it really is a confidence booster. So thank you guys so much. I can't say how much I really truly do appreciate that. But yes, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video or were able to take away some helpful tips or just products in general. And I hope you will give this video a thumbs up, because of course that really helps me. I hope you will subscribe before you go. I do have a giveaway coming up. I know I keep saying that I'm doing the giveaway, but I actually ended up doing the 5,000 subscriber giveaway on Instagram first, and so I'm still waiting to like wrap that up and get a hold of the winner before I jump on and do the 2,000 for YouTube. So thank you guys so much for the support. It's blowing me away on a daily basis, and I appreciate it so much. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and I will see you real soon in my next video. Bye.
the Becca primer. They're like, what's it called? That's gonna bother me. This really does not have like any luminous to the skin. This really does not add any like luminous. What am I saying? I feel like my shirt was showing the entire time, but like guys, you gotta see my shirt. Hold on. How can I do this without killing myself? It's got like the lashes and the lipstick. Can you guys see that? Isn't that so cute? My sister sent it to me from her store at Top Off Clothing. I'll link it below. I love her clothes and I love this shirt. The lashes make me so happy.